UFC Vegas 113. How we doing, everybody? My name is Young Pasty, and I am here today to give you a pick for every single fight on the card. Now, this week and the following weeks, we're going to be trying something new. All right, we're calling it quick picks. Every single fight we'll be breaking down. We have 2 minutes. All right, I have 2 minutes to break down the fight and give you a pick and a prediction. All right, once the 2 minutes is up, we quit talking and we move on to the next fight. Quick, easy, short, and to the point. All right, so it's a new format we're trying. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of how things will go. So now, as we always do, we have to recap last week, UFC 325. Let's pull the results up here and go over that here real quickly. 7-3 on the picks, not too bad. Should have been 8-2. I think we can all agree that first fight, Yiza versus Konoff, I think Yiza won that fight. All right, we had some hometown bias, giving Konoff the nod there. But my other 2 losses, Torres Finney getting messed up for 3 rounds, regardless of the injury he had. No, I'm not going to put the air quotes, he did. Regardless of the injury he had in the first round, he was still going to lose. Wasn't shooting for takedowns, and his striking sucks. Rafael Fiziev getting knocked out by Mauricio Rufy. Now, Rufy getting a KO is not unexpected, but I didn't expect it versus a guy like Fiziev, who's a tough son of a gun and didn't get knocked out by Gaethje. So, but the wins. Volk getting the decision over Lopez, called it to a T. BSD getting the win over Dan Hooker. Hey, he got the finish on the mat. Teixeira over Tai Tuivasa, unanimous decision. Again, these guys were so dang tired in the 3rd round, but Tai Tuivasa just isn't the man that he was. Sal killed, easy submission over Malarkey. Elikana, easy submission over Tafa. Rouston, easy KO over Brundage. And man, Jonathan McAuliffe pulling off a crazy sub over Oban Elliott in the 2nd round. Impressive. Has power in the hands, which knocked him down and allowed him to get to the mat. I mean, it was beautiful. So, overall, solid card. 7-3 on the picks, not going to lie. So, but hey, we're moving on to UFC Vegas 113, all right? And as I said in the intro, these are quick picks, all right? 2 minutes for every single fight after I introduce the fighters, all right? So let's get to it for our main event here, all right? We have Mario Bautista taking on Vinicius Lockdog Oliveira. Minus 200 for Mario Bautista and plus 150 for Vinicius Oliveira. Countdown begins in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight. I'm going with Mario Bautista here, guys. And I like Vinicius Oliveira. Okay, he's nice. Style's a little wild, hands are low, powerful, explosive, and a dog, all right? He will walk your butt down, but I think this is just stepping up too fast, too quick, all right? I consider Mario Bautista pretty dang good, okay? Losing to only the best here in the UFC. Won 8 in a row, all right? An 8-fight win streak in the UFC. That's rare to come by, okay? And I know Vinicius Oliveira does have some good wins here in the UFC, but, man, Bautista's just built for a 5-round fight, guys. I think the striking, the movement, it's going to be too much for Vinicius Oliveira. And I know Oliveira will probably be a little bit bigger, all right? He has a reach advantage and may be able to, work his way in and find the shots on Mario Bautista somehow, some way. Because, I don't know. He pulls off some wild stuff, like I said. You can see in all his fights. The flying knee that he had versus Sopaj, that was crazy. Beat Ricky Simone easily. Beat Saeed Nurmagomedov. Beat Kyler Phillips. So he has some good wins on his resume. Vinicius Oliveira does. But, so does Mario Bautista, right? Damon Blackshear beating Ricky Simone. Same thing. Jose Aldo. Patchy Mix. His loss recently to Umar Nurmagomedov. Are we going to give him too much grief for that, Mario Bautista? No. So, again, I think Mario Bautista is one of the better in this division. Vinicius Oliveira is a bright fighter to look at and has a good career and outlook here in the UFC, but too much, too fast. Mario Bautista is going to do what he does, pick him apart for probably 5 rounds and take it by decision. So Mario Bautista by decision. That's my official pick. Let's go. All right, moving on to our co-main event of the evening. We have Amir Albazi taking on Kyoji Horiguchi. Odds in the fight plus 265 for Amir Albazi and minus 340 for Horiguchi. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go. My pick for this fight. I am rolling with Kyoji Horiguchi. I can't trust Amir Albazi at this point. He's been inactive recently. The injuries kind of concern me. He's coming off a 5-round butt whooping versus Brandon Moreno. And honestly, the fight he had with Kai Kara-France, I mean, that really could have gone either way. Personally, I think Kara-France won that fight. Rewatching it, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, I just don't like the look of a 5-round butt whooping from Moreno. Look at their faces at the end of the fight. Compare them. I mean, Albazi's face was beat the F up, and Moreno's barely had a scratch on it. And this leads me to believe that Horiguchi can probably do the same thing here. I mean, he surprised me with his performance last time out versus Said Nurmagomedov. He avoided the Bellator curse, right? You come over from Bellator and you lose your first fight. Hey, he beat a Nurmagomedov coached by Khabib, who, you know, isn't too bad and is, you know, one of the, you know, ranked people here in flyweight. So what I'm expecting in this fight, honestly, is a striking clinic from Horiguchi, dude. Horiguchi had no problems from the takedowns from Tagir, so I'm not concerned or have any issues with that from Albazi. And Albazi's a tough guy, okay? I see this going all 3 rounds. You know, I see Horiguchi getting his hand raised at the end of it. So we're going to take Horiguchi, and we're going to take him by decision. And that's my official pick for this fight. Hey, look at that. 20 seconds to spare. Let's go. All right, moving on to our next fight. Heavyweights going at it here. We have Jailton Almeida versus Rizvan Kuniev. Odds on the fight, minus 145 for Almeida, plus 115 for Kuniev. Timer begins in 3, 2, 1, bang. My pick for this fight, I'm rolling with Jailton Almeida here. And we'll just put it clear and cut up front, get it out of the way. He's a takedown or bust, okay? If he's not getting takedowns, he's not going to win the fight. Rizvan, recently, coming off a very close fight with Blades, avoided most of the takedowns, was taken down a few times, but I mean, you're going up against Jailton Almeida. This guy's a different beast, okay? He's taken down all of his opponents in the UFC, win or lose. So now he lost his last fight versus, you know, Alexander Volkov, and one thing I would hope he learned is inflict damage on the ground, okay? Don't just pray and lay, because he's able to get takedowns. He just does nothing with them. If he's not getting a sub, he's just literally laying there and holding position. So is he going to have a tough time getting Rizvan down? Maybe. I mean, he's a big, meaty guy. So, and Almeida, you know, he does, you know, give up a few pounds here at heavyweight to other heavyweights. You know what I mean? What does he usually come in at? 237? Rizvan comes in at the limit at 265, you know, so he's got like 30 pounds on him. Might be, you know, a little tough to get Rizvan down. Like I said, he's a meaty, big, true kind of heavyweight, you know what I mean? If he keeps this on the feet, Rizvan's probably going to knock out Jailton. Jailton's striking is subpar, dude. And do I see that happening? Maybe. There's a potential for it, for sure. And we still haven't seen Rizvan on the ground. We don't know what that kind of looks like, or how he's going to do in bottom position. Is Almeida going to lock up a sub? I mean, that's definitely a possibility, because if Rizvan's, clueless on the mat, I mean, Almeida will take advantage of that. Rizvan does have pretty decent power for the division, decent striking for heavyweight, but ultimately, I think Almeida's ground game is too much for Rizvan. So Almeida by submission or decision, that's my official pick. Let's go. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Next fight, we have Michal Oleksiejczuk versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Odds on the fight, minus 290 for Oleksiejczuk, plus 215 for Marc-Andre Barriault. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight is going to be Michal Oleksiejczuk. Marc-Andre Barriault's chin it's expired, guys. It's no longer good. Okay, and Oleksiejczuk is beginning a little bit of a run here. All right, he's getting fed some favorable matchups Cedricus Dumas, first round KO. Gerald Mearshart, first round KO. Marc-Andre Barrios, first round KO? Maybe. Dude, old Chuk's got power in the hands. He can take down people. He can wrestle. Hands are heavy, dude. Big ass hands. That's why he's knocking people out. Trains with the fighting nerds. I really think he's upped his game, with these last 2 wins. I know they're against, not really the best of people, right? But hey, he's here and he's knocking people out. Marc-Andre hasn't won in over 2.5 years. Yeah, he has a win over Bruno Silva, but that's the corpse of Bruno Silva. All right, you throw a toothpick at that guy's chin, he's getting knocked out. Marc-Andre's looked a little bit slower here, older at 35 years old. He might be a little bit taller than him, but I just don't think he's going to do enough to get the win here versus Chuk. The chin really scares me. And if this does end up going all 3 rounds, I know Marc-Andre is really kind of good at sticking and moving and dancing around the octagon. I just think the pressure will be too much from Chuk. I think Chuk will, if it does go to decision, just have bigger moments and stack those up and at least win the first 2 rounds and ride out the last round there. But knowing that there's a $25,000 finish bonus, I think Chuk's going to go out there and try and get the win. So, Chuk by KO. That is my official pick for this fight with time to spare. Moving on to our next fight, we have Gene Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. Odds in the fight, plus 180 for Matsumoto, minus 235 for Basharat. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight, I'm rolling with Farid Basharat. And this was kind of tough for me because my heart really wants to pick Gene Matsumoto, but my brain is picking Farid Basharat. He's the better of the Basharat brothers. Okay, this is a similar situation to the Bonfim brothers. We have one solid, good fighter in Farid Basharat, and then the other one is, not so good. Basharat's distance striking is damn good. Okay, constantly on the pressure, has a reach advantage, slightly taller than Gene Matsumoto. Mixes in takedowns and has some really good work on the fence too. I like the work that Farid Basharat has, and I just think his striking is a level above Gene Matsumoto's. And even though he's only 2 years older and has less MMA fights, I feel like Basharat's kind of the vet in this situation here. 5 straight wins after the Dana White Contender Series. I mean, Basharat's someone to look out for here. But Matsumoto's a dog, man. And there's a reason my heart wants to pick Matsumoto, because he has grit. He won't give up. He'll be fighting the entire fight. He has powerful shots. His submissions are pretty dang good, right? He can get people to the mat. His top control, his top position is pretty solid. He just hunts for the submissions on the mat. I like that rather than people that just kind of lay there and not there's people that strategically move from position to position to try and find a submission, but a lot of people just sit there and lay. So I'm not worried, though. I'm not worried about their grappling and the wrestling. Basharat beat Damon Blackshear, and he actually spent a lot of time on the mat in that fight, going back and forth. So, I don't think he's going to get any sort of, dominated on the mat. But overall, I think Basharat's going to win on the scorecards, have cleaner shots, pick Matsumoto apart from range, and avoid getting taken down. So Basharat by decision is my official pick. Let's go. All right, moving on to our next fight. We have Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. Odds in the fight, minus 205 for Dustin Jacoby, plus 165 for Julius Walker. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight, guys. I'm rolling with Dustin Jacoby, but I'm not confident in it whatsoever. Jacoby's 37 years old, guys. Julius Walker's 26, so that age could catch up to Jacoby. It could. Walker couldn't put away Rafael Sakaria, who is notably chinny. All right, and that leads me to believe maybe Jacoby can withstand any power shots that actually connect, right? And when it comes to the striking, Jacoby is just tiers above Walker in that department, guys. Let's be honest. Are you going to disagree with me? I just think he has so much more experience and over much better guys, too. Has wins over better guys than Julius Walker has. So, but Walker is a tough son of a gun, bro. Cardio's not the best, right? But he can take a punch, and I'm sure he's been working on his cardio, given his last 2 fights. So could he mix in takedowns? Maybe, but I'm not banking on that, right? And Jacoby's takedown defense is pretty solid, in my opinion. I got Jacoby by a 3-round decision. Maybe even a KO if he accumulates the damage on Walker and is just kind of piecing him up, or lands a clean counter shot from Julius Walker coming in. Stick and pop, stick and pop, stick and pop. That's Jacoby's game, bro. And I feel like Walker is going to get caught looking a lot. So, I mean, win or lose, either way, I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I think the matchmakers did a really good job pairing these two up. The KO threat from Walker is what scares me and why I'm not too confident in the Jacoby pick. Because, again, Jacoby's 37. We've seen him wobbled and hit before. And if Walker follows those shots up, after he connects, he could chin him. But at the same time, I just don't trust Julius Walker. And Justin Jacoby is a much better striker and has shown that he can point fight his way to a decision or maybe even get an KO. So I got Jacoby by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Out of the main card and into the prelims we go. We have Alex Morono, the Great White. I take offense to that, Morono, versus Daniil Donchenko. Odds in the fight, we have plus 400 for Morono, minus 590 for Donchenko. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight, I'm rolling with Daniil Donchenko. All right, Alex Morono is washed. All right, his chin's gone to any sort of decent power coming his way, and quite honestly, I thought he was gonna get cut or he was retired. But I mean, in like the last 5 years, he's only beaten old people, and they're feeding him to Daniil. All right, I might make Alex Morono the lamb of the week here. Donchenko, decent striker, but he really thrives when he gets people to the mat. Ground and pound, subs, both are live. Man, that ground and pound is vicious when he gets people to the ground. And I presume that Donchenko is going to get Morono to the mat and look to tee off. All right? Like, I don't want to shit on Morono here. All right? Like, too bad, but he's going up against a young, hungry killer. Right? He's fresh off Dana White Contender Series. He wants that $25,000 bonus. Like, this is just a bad matchup for you, Alex Morono. You should be fighting older journeymen later in their careers, past 33, 34 years old, and don't really have anything to fight for other than to fight for fun and money. Donchenko still has aspirations and dreams of maybe being a title holder one day. And when people have that kind of mentality in their brain, I feel like they fight at a better level and are more confident. And with the power Donchenko has and his ability to finish on the mat, yeah, Morono, again, a bad matchup. I got Daniil by KO. I think that's how he ends it. Probably in the first or second round. Morono, I mean, he just like kind of dances and pitter patters around, and like point fighting ain't gonna work against this guy. I'll tell you that. So Daniil Donchenko by KO. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, moving on to our next fight. We have Bruna Brasil versus Ketlin Souza. Odds on the fight plus 140 for Bruna Brasil, minus 166 for Ketlin Souza. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight here, guys. I'm rolling with the underdog, Bruna Brasil. I'm addicted to picking these underdogs, these women underdogs, god dang it. I mean, Brazil, look at her career. She loses to good fighters and beats the beatable fighters, all right? I think Ketlin Souza is a beatable fighter for her, all right? Bruna Brasil already got kicked out of the UFC, all right? Had to win on road to the UFC and come back. All right, I think she has a little more motivation to put on a good performance to try and stay in the UFC. Longer and taller than Ketlin Souza, but I mean, Souza's usually the smaller girl compared to everybody. But, Ketlin Souza's losing to Piera Rodriguez. I don't really think that she's that good. Ketlin's losing to Angela Hill recently, too, in her last 2 fights. So, these are fighters you need wins against, all right? Ketlin's a small fighter, decent power in the hands, mostly a striker, but she gets taken down easily, and her cardio fades in the third. Bad. think Bruna fights with a lot of success here in this matchup. I think she finds a lot of success on the fence. I think if she's able to secure takedowns and get Ketlin Souza on the mat, that will do her well in the fight here too. Now, I think it goes to decision either way. I don't know. I see a tough time picking Ketlin Souza here, and as I said before, I'm addicted to picking these women underdogs that are like near that plus 120, plus 180 range, because I feel like you can get good value on them. I think Bruna Brazil's a solid fighter. I think people sleep on her, and I think she's going to surprise a lot of people here. Even though I see a lot of people betting on her and taking her, and a lot of people don't have faith in Ketlin Souza given her last two performances. We'll roll with Bruna Brazil. We'll take her by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, moving on to our next fight. We have Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Javid Basharat. Odds on the fight here, we have plus 125 for Saeed and minus 150 for Basharat. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight. I'm going to roll with Saeed Nurmagomedov. I mean, this fight kind of pisses me off, guys. Kind of pisses me off. Like, who's going to bounce back better? Saeed seems to be kind of fading in his career from fight to fight to fight. You kind of see him slowing down, looking older. Things aren't going his way. Maybe the strength's kind of deteriorating. I don't know, but like he's just continually looking slower and not as dominant as he once was. Right. On the other hand, Javid Basharat. This Basharat brother is a fraud. Okay, I compared him to like the Bonfim brothers, right? Gabriel and Ishmael. Ishmael's trash. Javid, you'll see it here. I think he's going to lose to Saeed Nurmagomedov. I do. All right? I mean, he gets up Basharat gets a step up in competition and loses. Pretty easy. I mean, who was his last two losses to? Ricky Simone and Ayman Zahabi? Got knocked out clean by Ricky Simone. That left a bad taste in my mouth because I had big money on Basharat that day. This really isn't the most confident pick, but I think Saeed probably can get it done by submission. I think he can get Basharat to the mat. I think he can lock up a choke, and Basharat will tap quickly. Okay, like I think he's a giver-upper. Like I ain't got no faith in this guy. We got Khabib in the corner of Nurmagomedov. He's gonna be yelling at him and telling him, if you don't win this fight, you're not gonna eat for a week. I don't know. We'll take Saeed Nurmagomedov, and we'll take him by submission. I think he's able to get Javid down to the ground and get a choke in. Okay. Javid Basharat, he's a fraud. Okay, got fraud check last time. You'll see it here again. No faith in him whatsoever. So that's my official pick. Let's go. All right, moving on to our next fight. We have Kong Wang versus Eduarda Moura. Is it Kong Wang or Wang Kong? I always get this mixed up. I don't know. Anyway, odds in the fight minus 225 for Wang, plus 170 for Moura. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1, bang. My pick for this fight, guys. I'm rolling with Wang Kong. All right, Wang gang. Where we at, Wang gang? Avoid the takedowns in the cage. Slice Moura up on the feet. That is your game plan, Wang Kong. Okay. She is the much more quicker, powerful, and overall just better striker between the two. Kickboxing is obviously elite. You'll hear everybody say it. Beat Valentina Shevchenko in kickboxing. So Eduarda, she looks good on paper, right? But like her only like moderately difficult fight was versus Denise Gomez, right? And she lost to her. Now she did beat Veronica Hardy. That is actually a pretty solid win. I'll give her that. But it's like you stepped up in competition and you lost. And I think she's stepping up in competition here. And I think Wang Kong is gonna. You'll see. You'll see this girl striking, man. It is top class. It's hard for me to see Eduarda getting the best of Kong Wang here. It really is. So she's slower. She's gonna get hit a lot more. We saw her cardio kind of fade versus a older. What's her name? Who's that girl that she just fought? Lauren Murphy. An aging old Lauren Murphy was getting tired in the third round there. I'm gonna have to side with the better striker And Moura's tough. I don't think she's getting knocked out. So I think we're going to go all 3 rounds here. Wang, Kong by decision. That's my official pick for this fight with time to spare. Let's go. All right, moving on to our next fight. We have Gafurov versus Jacob Wiklacz. Odds on the fight, we got to pick them at the time of this recording. -115 apiece. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight. I'm rolling with Jacob Wiklacz. And yeah, I'm declaring him a takedown or bust. But I think he's going to be able to out-grapple Mr. Hairy Back, Gafurov. If you don't know, Gafurov has this big, hairy patch on his back. You won't miss it. All right, so when you watch the fight, you'll see it. Anyway, Wiklacz coming off a win versus Patchy Mix, which he definitely did not win. And I don't understand that one. Spent a lot of time on his back, and it really didn't make sense to me. But Wiklacz is primarily a grappler. He's pretty dang good at it. Hunts for takedowns, submissions. Spent a lot of time over there in KSW as the champ, so he has lots of experience and championship experience too, going 4 or 5 rounds. Gafurov's takedown defense is not the greatest, but not awful. Got subbed up by Nurmagomedov pretty easy, taken down a few times in the Castaneda fight. But if Wiklacz isn't getting his takedowns, his striking ain't shit. He'll get pieced up by Gafurov, maybe even knocked out. Wiklacz has an okay front kick. That's all I'm going to give him here in his striking. It's not really that good. So Gafurov is really looking to keep this fight on the feet. And if he is the one that starts initiating the grappling and the wrestling, it's not going to do him any favors. I think he's going to spend a lot of time on his back. Wiklacz sub is live. But I think I'm going to roll with a decision. I think a Jacob Wiklacz decision makes a lot of sense. Gafurov is pretty tough. I don't know if Wiklacz... the submission's live. I gotta check the number. I don't know what the number is here, but maybe something to sprinkle on if it's juicy enough. But we'll take it. We'll take Jacob Wiklacz. We'll take him by decision, and that's my official pick for this fight with time to spare. Let's go. All right, guys. Moving on to our last fight of the video and the first fight of the night. 2 ladies going at it. We have Priscilla Cachoeira, the zombie girl, versus Claudia Sygula. Odds on the fight, +115 for Zombie Girl, -135 for Sygula. Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. My pick for this fight, guys. I'm rolling with Zombie Girl, Priscilla Cachoeira. I got a thing for these women underdogs here. And yeah, okay, send your hate mail, all right? I'm all for it, all right? I know what we're looking at. Priscilla's 10 years older than Claudia Sygula, coming off a bad KO. Horrible UFC record at 5-7. But I just feel like this Sygula girl is not a legit fighter. All right? This is probably her second actual fight. All right? Third. The one before versus Irina Alekseeva, is that really an impressive fight? You know what I mean? But her 7-2 record, Sygula, is so padded. All right? These are the wins she has over her opponents and their records. 0-1, 3-0, 0-1, 5-2, 1-0, and lastly 5-9. All right, until she got signed to the UFC. So they're just throwing her nobodies, and all these people that she's fought against. Okay, the 0-1s, the 0-2s, the 5-2s, the 3-0s. They quit MMA after the fight with Sygula, or they lost maybe 1 or 2 more fights after that, then quit MMA. So the people that she's beating are not really legitimate fighters, in my opinion, okay? And yeah, you beat Alekseeva, but Alekseeva really only has 3 minutes of fighting her. After that, she gets super tired and has awful cardio. Priscilla hits hard, okay? And I think if she can just pressure Sygula to the fence, fire off power shots, one of them's going to connect. Sygula's not going to like it. If she, takes a hit from Priscilla that she doesn't like, I think she's just going to not want any more of it and kind of fold and give up. We saw her get knocked out by Melissa Mullins. I think Priscilla is going to do the same thing here, and probably early. First round KO is probably juicy as hell, but Zombie Girl by KO. Let's go. Those are your quick picks. 2 minutes or less for every single fight on the card. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments. Throw me a like and subscribe, please. All right, we're on the road to 400 subscribers. So if you could do me a favor and click that button down there for me, I'd really appreciate it. Secondly, go look at the Patreon, okay? Patreon is free, links in the description. That's where I put all my bets out when I place them. Bets video comes out on Thursdays. So if you're interested in the betting realm of things, again, bets are free. I post all of them on my Patreon before. Bets video comes out on Thursday. You got to get those odds when they're good because they always sway in the opposite way, okay? We're usually ahead of the odds. So let's have a good week this week for UFC Vegas 113. Back in the Apex, the meta Apex. Ooh. Young Pasty, out. Let's go.